All right, I call the regular meeting of the Board of Education to order at 7 p.m. Thank you for coming, and for those that will be watching a recording of the meeting in the future, all board members are present and a quorum to meet has been established. At this time, I invite those willing and able to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next up on the agenda is our first public comment. Is there any public comment for the Board of Education tonight? Okay. Then we will move on. All right, next on the agenda are routine matters for approval. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on June 24th, 2026.
Motion by Pryor.
Support by Sislo.
All right, we have a motion from Ms. Pryor with support from Mr. Sislo. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, we will proceed with the vote.
Heika,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Pryor,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Burdette,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
and Gutierrez.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, thank you. All right, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session held on June 24th, 2026.
Moved by Sislo.
Support by Burdette.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Sislo with support from Mr. Burdette. Is there any discussion? All right, we'll proceed with the vote.
Murray, yes. Pryor,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Burdette,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika,
Yes.
and motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. If you could pass those down to Mr. McMahon, that would be appreciated. Thank you. Got them all? All right, next on the agenda, I need a motion to approve the bills and reimbursement of expenses.
Moved by Burdette.
Support by Gutierrez.
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Burdette with support from Dr. Gutierrez. Are there any questions or discussion? All right, we'll proceed with the vote.
Pryor,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Burdette,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika, yes. And Murray, yes. Motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. Next up on the agenda, under board organization, before I read the resolutions, I'm interested in knowing if there are members of the board interested in being voting delegates to the MASB. We need 2 voting members.
Mr. Farrow,
Yes.
I'm willing to serve. I plan on attending the meeting.
Okay.
Mr. Farrow, I also plan on attending, and I'm willing to serve.
Okay. We need, are you interested in that, or are you?
You
We do
can-
need 2 alternates.
Yeah, I'm willing to serve as an alternate.
President Fair, I'm also willing to serve as the alternate.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so I need a motion to approve 4 resolutions identified on the agenda as 5A through 5D. I will now read the resolutions. A, to name J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, Fifth Third Bank, U.S. Bank, Michigan School District Liquid Asset Fund, Bank of New York Mellon, First Merchants Bank, and MBIA Michigan class as depositories for general fund, payroll, debt retirement, trust and agency, food service, athletic, and internal accounts for district monies for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, and that the following staff members' signatures be attached to the respective accounts as listed: general fund, payroll and invoice, debt retirement, food service, trust and agency, athletics, superintendent, superintendent, assistant superintendent, and finance director. Milan High School, superintendent, assistant superintendent, and finance director. Milan Middle School, superintendent, assistant superintendent, and finance director. Simons Elementary School, superintendent, assistant superintendent, and finance director. Paddock Elementary School, superintendent, assistant superintendent, and finance director. Be it further moved that the superintendent or designee is authorized to transfer funds from savings to checking and checking to savings, and is authorized to buy time savings certificates and invest district monies in accordance with state and/or federal law and board policy. Item B, to designate the superintendent or designee to post notice of meetings. Item C, that the law firm of Troon Law Firm, P.C. be retained as district's legal counsel for the 26-27 fiscal year. Further move that the superintendent is authorized to extend the retainer relationship with Troon Law Firm, P.C. for 1 year upon its anniversary date. Further move that all other legal counsel may be retained for specific purposes as needed. Item D, to approve the appointments listed below. Voting delegates to the MASB, Dr. Carrie Gutierrez and Cassie Pryor. Alternate voting delegates to MASB, Ms. Sarah Murray and Mr. Gabe Burdette. Do I have a motion?
Moved by Sislo.
Support by Gutierrez.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Sislo with support from Dr. Gutierrez. Discussion, Mr. Superintendent McMahon.
Thank you, President Farrow. These are just essentially, other than you naming the delegates and the alternate delegates, this is just a July organizational annual items that have to be approved. So the banking, the posting requirements, that's me and a designee who happens to be in this room to help me post the meetings, and then legal representation. So it's something we have to consider every year.
Any questions or discussion from board members? All right, we'll proceed with the vote.
Thank you. Sislo,
Yes.
Burdette,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Pica,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Pryor,
Yes.
and motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. In the area of finance and operations, I need a motion to approve the emergency operation plans as revised in accordance with MCL Section 380.1308B of the revised school code.
Moved by Heike.
Support by Burdette.
All right, I have a motion from Ms. Heike with support from Mr. Burdette. Superintendent McMahon.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. So we discussed this at our last meeting, and I sent you the emergency operation plans to review. They're not publicly available documents because they concern matters of security and safety. But it's a new requirement, and Mrs. Bookout led the administrators in bringing them up to the new template that MDE has provided for all school districts. It's required that we review them with local law enforcement agencies and that they're reviewed every 2 years. So this is the first year of a new cycle. We've always had to have emergency operation plans, and we've always had to have them approved every other year. There's just a new template, so they're now updated. You've had a chance to see them. I didn't receive any questions on them. They're couple hundred pages each. They're lengthy documents to get through following the template, but the administrators and Mrs. Bookout worked really hard to get them up to snuff.
Any questions for Superintendent McMahon or Assistant Superintendent Bookout?
Mr. Fair.
Yes.
No, I just want to reiterate thanks for the comprehensive and lengthy work that went into developing the plans. They are very readable and very understandable, and I think that they make a lot of big improvements. So, thanks.
Any other questions or comments? All right, we'll proceed with the vote.
Thank you. Burdette,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Pica,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Pryor,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
and motion carries 7-0.
All right, next up in the area of learning, environment, and culture, Assistant Superintendent Bookout has an artificial intelligence protocols update for the board.
Sure.
Ms. Bookout.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. Over the past year, I've shared a few updates with the board about the work that our AI task force has been doing. We spent a lot of time this year meeting and researching together and researching best practices and getting feedback from our staff and from our students. And I'm happy that we can share the output of that work that we've done with some AI guidance documents for your review. You have those. They should be under your board agenda. There are 3 of those. So we have 3. We have 1 for staff, 1 for students, and 1 for families. Although they're all written for a different audience, they have the same core principles, and we really wanted to make sure that we are strongly emphasizing the importance of protecting student privacy, academic integrity, using AI in responsible ways, and also making sure that in all of our discussions and work with AI that we're really focusing on how it enhances learning, not replaces learning and replaces student thinking. We feel very strongly that our AI philosophy is that AI is a supplement, but it's never going to replace the relationships that are at the heart of teaching and learning, and we want to make sure that we don't lose that. And we want to make sure that our students understand some of the attractive dangers of AI to kind of offload some of that cognitive work that's so important in the work of learning. And we want to make sure that our students have a really clear understanding of how AI can be used, but also some of the dangers and how AI can be used, and that it can be a really attractive thing to try and use, and we're seeing more and more of our students use it, but also to understand some of the dangers there and be able to make responsible decisions as learners. Something that we wanted to be very intentional about in our documents is the idea of choice. We know there's a lot of strong feelings about AI in our surrounding communities and with our staff, even with our students. We were surprised as we started talking to students how many students feel very negatively about AI and do not want to use it at all, and we want to respect that choice. We think if people are making a principled stand, especially our students, if they have done the research and feel strongly about that, we don't want to compel them or force them to do something that they feel is not the right choice for them. So we want to make sure everyone understands how AI works and knows how to make responsible choices about it, but we also want to ultimately make it a choice for everyone to choose to use it as is appropriate for them. So we are hoping to roll out this guidance to our families, our students, and our staff in the fall. For our secondary and middle school, potentially upper elementary and high school students will do a lot more work with the student guidelines. Our younger students, this probably isn't the most appropriate document to hand to them, so we'll probably share some of these conversations in age-appropriate ways. We want to make sure that we're starting to share this with everyone. Our AI task force is still not done. We're going to continue to meet, and our plan is to continue to develop professional development for our staff, start to develop some resources and materials for our secondary students to learn more about AI, and then also to continue to update these guidelines as more technology is evolving. It's going very, very quickly, and so we know that these need to be very flexible and we need to be able to adjust as new things become available. So I'm really proud of the work that we've done, but we're not finished, and I'm very open to any feedback that you have on these AI guidelines, and look forward to any responses that you have to share with us.
Any questions or comments for Assistant Superintendent Bookout?
Yes, Mr. Farrow, thank you. Just really briefly, I am so excited with where I see the district, like what position I see us sitting in right now with regard to having this much clarity already around what our student expectations are, what our staff guidelines are, and how we're communicating those things to families. I do a lot of work in the AI education sector in my, day job, and I can tell you from, state conferences that I attend, the professional organizations that I am a part of, that many, many, many districts across the state are not in this position where they have not had these conversations, they have not put together a task force, they don't have clarity yet around how people are using it in their district and what their intentions are with it. And I'm really excited to see that student choice is being centered in this work, and that we're intentionally looking at not replacing those critical thinking skills and those analytics, and that we're also being thoughtful about how our curriculum needs to evolve or be sensitive around how AI can simply just generate answers, and how we need to create assignments and experiences for students that bake in that need for critical thinking and analysis on their own part. So thank you to the task force for doing this work. It's a great, great start, a great place for us to be in, I think.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Any other questions or comments? Dr. Gutierrez?
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. I agree with Mrs. Murray about her gratitude for the work that's gone into this. I have said before that AI is the challenge of this generation in the way that the internet was the challenge of, I think, many of our generations. And so I appreciate that you started the Family Guide acknowledging that there are many ways that we are already using AI in our daily lives that we may not have seen or interpreted. I think the idea is that, Claude and ChatGPT is what AI is, and not Google Maps, or, all these things that we have come to be very, very familiar and reliant upon. So I think part of it is important to acknowledge the many ways in which AI is part of our lives. And I like so many things about this. I might just ask that on the student guide, under the introduction, on the first sentence, the word "they" is used to reference artificial intelligence, and I might want to request that it be changed to "it," so that it's not personifying artificial intelligence. What's that?
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to. I know there's a whole conversation on the radio this morning about, like, what's your AI named? But I noticed elsewhere you refer to AI as "it." So I think trying to just stay with a very intentionality that it is not personified, that it is a tool, and it is helpful in some ways and can be deleterious in others. But I hope that we continue to see these, and I appreciate the work that was put into this.
Any other board comments or questions?
Mr. Farrow, I have one question. On the staff guide under don'ts, we have copy and paste AI directly, and I saw that in the student side too, which I understand the point of that, but I'm wondering if we want to clarify that maybe in both places, maybe not in the student guide, but I know my kids use Kahoot to build quizzes to study, and I know teachers use similar programs to build exams and things like that. So I don't know if an absolute prohibition on copying and pasting, while I understand what we mean.
Yeah.
There are uses that staff and students are using right now that are completely legitimate, but are copying and pasting AI. So I don't know if you want to think about that.
Yep,
as we
absolutely.
roll
We
it
can
out.
definitely
I don't
modify
want
that.
anyone to inadvertently be,
Right.
in violation of the policy.
All right, any other?
May I ask one more question?
Yes, of course.
So I know that our school computers track and supervise what students are doing online. Can I assume the same happens with any AI system that they're using?
It depends on the AI system and what those guidelines and privacy settings are. It's becoming challenging. We did at one point remove AI from the allowed list. The difficult part is when we did that, because AI is built into so many systems, it actually completely disabled most of what students could access, even curriculum programs, because there's AI components. So it's becoming very difficult because AI is becoming so integrated with so many of our computer programs to track and to monitor how AI is being used there.
That may be something that we, as a district, want to think more about, being able to have kind of eyes on what is happening in AI, whether, if a student were to Google something nefarious, I think our systems catch it.
It does, yes. So we
Right.
do receive alerts. So if a student, we have had to have conversations
I
with
know
students
you
about
have, yes.
the things that you type in ChatGPT. We see all of those prompts.
Okay.
And it just, with anything that you're searching on a school computer, make sure it is a school-appropriate topic.
So those things that are searched even in an AI prompt are also caught through the,
Yes,
okay.
100%.
Thank you, Ms. Bookout.
Welcome.
All right, so we will move on to the next item on the agenda. I need a motion to approve Julie Mehta as Milan High School social worker effective for the 26-27 school year.
Moved by Murray.
Support by Pryor.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Murray with support from Ms. Pryor. Superintendent McMahon.
Thank you. I think it's Julie Mata, at least.
Mata.
She didn't correct me when I
My apologies,
used that,
Julie.
so, yeah. Excuse me, Julie comes to us with 2 years' experience. She was in a contracted position, and for a lot of social workers, it's more attractive to get into the retirement system, be a direct hire. And she wanted to work in she actually said a district that reminded her where she grew up a little bit. I think it was Ionia, a little bit of a rural community, north of Lansing, I believe. She said this seemed like a good fit. She seems like a terrific fit. She's a great candidate. Had some experience in Romulus, did student teaching in Riverview. She went for undergrad in social work and then did some field work and then decided to go back, get the master's and get the school cert. So we're looking forward to having her. We followed all the normal processes for posting the position. It fits into the MEA contract and expectations. And we offered her the position early last week, and she's excited to join the team. So
questions for Superintendent McMahon?
Mr. McMahon, is this a new role or are we replacing?
Sorry, no, it's to replace the resigned social worker from last year in high school.
Any other questions for board members? All right, we'll proceed with the vote.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Pryor,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
and Burdette.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, back to the area of personnel and leadership. I requested that Superintendent McMahon provide the Board of Education and the community with any available updates concerning the bargaining groups. So Superintendent McMahon.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. So since our last meeting, I have had a chance to meet with some of our groups. We started with the food services group, our cafeteria workers. Had a very productive first meeting with them. Actually came to a point where we provided them a proposal, including salary, some language around substitutes returning, former workers returning to substitute, and the pay rate there. They came back to us with a counter proposal, so we just got to finish it up. But I think we'll get that cleaned up pretty quick. So I anticipate getting their contracts settled before their first pay period, which I'll just say my goal was to get as many, if not all of our groups done prior to their contract ends, so we don't have to do retro pay. So I think we should be able to get there with food service. We also met with the transportation group. That was this Monday. Good conversation back and forth. A lot of the first meetings just kind of talk about our positions and what we're interested in doing. We had a good conversation with them where I'm going to be able to put some proposals together, get them to them. We'll have a next meeting. I think it's already scheduled, but I don't have that written down, but it's in the next 2 weeks. I think within a few meetings, we can probably come to terms with them and should have a settlement there as well prior to the end of their current contract. We had a meeting with the MASSS, that's our admin assistants, paraprofessionals, and custodial group. Again, a productive meeting. This one, they're a bigger group, so it was more of opening statements and what we're looking for and hoping to gain through negotiations. Each side of the table has some offers to put together that we're going to trade at our next meeting. I also don't have that in front of me, but it's in the next 2 weeks. I think we can move pretty quickly there. We'll get to the salary point down the road, but we have some language items we want to clear up. Nothing major in any of those three groups yet. Just kind of cleaning up some items and just clarifying some things through language. So those meetings were productive. Unfortunately, I haven't scheduled a meeting, been able to schedule a meeting yet with the MEA. There's an email back and forth about some potential dates, but we haven't been able to decide on dates. So they're the last group I got to officially meet with for the first time.
Right. I have a question for you, Superintendent McMahon.
Yeah.
Has the MEA provided you an official start date for school?
No, I have not received responses. So the way that normally works is the district proposes a draft calendar, and we provided that in March. We put that together. It was actually earlier this year than I believe it has been done in past years. And we've just been waiting. There's been some communication back and forth verbally, but nothing official, and I haven't received an official response yet. I did share with my principals today that the district's principals today that if parents inquire, we can start sharing tentative dates. I think the only dates we can officially declare is like the opening day and the countywide calendar items, the opening day, the Christmas break, and the winter break. So hopefully we get that settled soon. We had a number of reports, special ed and gen ed, that were due by July 1, and they were calendar based. So I had to move forward with those reports in the draft calendar. If the draft of our calendar gets adjusted at all in negotiations, we have to go back and redo those reports. But that's just where it is. So we don't have an official calendar yet. We have a draft calendar.
Right. So I think it's important to note to the community that this has been an ongoing discussion with the MEA. My understanding is that we provided, we had communication with them since March, wanting to confirm the calendar. And we are now in the month of July, and we still have not heard from the MEA.
Correct.
The other question that I had for you with regard to these updates with bargaining groups is it possible for us to have like a tab on our website to provide not only just the board, but the community with a space for them to go to see and learn about the updates that we have from the bargaining groups? So I know that we had done that with the MEA during last year's negotiations, and I just think it might be important for us to share these types of updates with the community moving forward.
Yeah, yes, we can create that. If the board's just looking for like a summary, like I just provided of we've met twice and we're moving forward positively, that's no problem. In order to put any specifics, information up, I believe it has to have been traded and accepted at the table
Yes,
to be a
understood.
public document.
Yes, understood.
I don't know if that's the level we want to get to, but
No,
yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm looking for just a general
Okay.
update.
Yeah, my understanding, it doesn't have to be accepted, it just has to be traded.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be,
Yep.
I mean, I guess accepted, like, but not,
Received.
not agreed upon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
received,
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Do the board members have any questions or comments, concerns for Superintendent McMahon?
Mr. Farrow?
Yes.
I don't know if I should even ask this question, but are we able to share the draft school start date with the community? I just know there's been so much hubbub in the community about wanting to know what that date is.
We can, is my understanding. I just have been hesitant
Yeah.
because you don't want one version out there
Oh, I know.
and then it changes. But, I mean, we're pretty close to the point where we just kind of need to.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
You know, families are trying to sneak in every last day of summer and
Sure.
plan those August vacations. And so I defer to you in the level of comfort you have, but I would request if we're allowed to do that, that we may want to consider doing that.
Yeah, I mean, to Dr. Gutierrez's point, to me, it seems like a very simplistic request. When is school going to start? And here we are in July. And
Yeah.
school's going to start, we anticipate, in August. So my hope is that we will get an answer soon.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Thank you, Superintendent McMahon. All right, under communications and community engagement, we are now back to public comments. Are there any public comments at this time? All right, hearing none, we will move on. Ms. Bookout is up next with Assistant Superintendent comments.
Thank you. I did share the bulk of my comments already with AI, but I did want to take a moment just to recognize a really special achievement from several of our high school students. This year we have 19 Milan High School students who earned recognition through the College Board's National Recognition Program. Of those 19, 14 of them were for the class of 2027 and 5 from the class of 2028. So the College Board Recognition Program celebrates students for their academic achievement via their GPA, as well as their SAT and PSAT scores, and then other criteria. So we're really proud of those students for making that accomplishment. I'm not going to share their names because I'm not exactly sure if even all of these students have received notification that they've won this recognition, but we are very excited for them, and we look forward to seeing how they're going to continue to celebrate and as they move into their senior year for 14 of them. So we're really excited to see how their achievement continues throughout the rest of the school year.
That's great. Awesome. Any questions for Assistant Superintendent Bookout? All right, thank you very much. Next up is Mr. McMahon with superintendent comments.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. Just a few comments today. I do want to follow up about the tennis court proposal that was brought to the board last week. It was approved to move forward with the contract, and if you remember, it was a majority was sinking fund eligible, but potentially up to 20,000 was going to have to be charged to general funds. So based on some of that conversation, and I appreciate it, I went back to Troon, our law firm that helps approve sinking fund expenses, and also Mr. Morlock helped me work with the vendor, which I don't have right in front of me, but the vendor that we approved for the tennis court repairs, and the work that was potentially going to fall under general funds, more of it can be coded as construction. So we're able to reduce the burden on the general fund down to possibly $5,000. Zero if we're able to reuse the nets and the posts above ground. But up to 5,000, we have to replace those items. But the anchors for the posts, they were able to label that as construction, so that can be covered. So we're able to bring that down to hopefully no more than 5,000 of general fund, where when you guys approved it, when the board approved it, it was potentially 20,000. So that's good news. I do want to share with the community that we are planning a big change at the high school, and it's the homecoming parade route. It's changed twice since I've been here. It used to start at Paddock and walk all the way down Marvin, all the way down Main. Then it got moved to, it was just Main Street at the church at the end of town. It's Marble Church, yeah. And now we're moving it to the park, Nature Park, just down Platte a bit, for a couple reasons. But the park will be our staging area. It will go south on Platte, then turn west on Redmond and go past the high school and in what is typically the exit drive to the back of the high school. So we're wrapping around the high school for a few reasons. One, and the student council was involved and pushed this, and also the band. A reduced walk on the parade route is beneficial for everybody in terms of time and the length of the walk. But also we want to build up more of a community activity festival gathering at the high school. We started this a couple years back, and it's grown every year kind of organically, and we want to build it up more to have some food vendors, activities, get our clubs a little bit more involved. There's even been some conversation with the elementary PTO to possibly do some stuff on Simon's property to engage our younger students a little bit. And we're looking forward to making more of a community celebration, like a pre-game celebration with a parade prior to, but more emphasis on that piece. The kids are really excited about it. It kind of makes sense for us. It helps reduce some costs because there's a cost to the parade route. So I just want to announce that change. I've sent in a few emails to the board, but it hasn't really been announced to the community yet. So that's a big shift for us, and we're looking forward to that celebration piece. A positive note I want to share with the community that our bus mechanic, our transportation mechanic, Doug Orr, he was named the 2026 Bus Technician of the Year last week at the conference for the Michigan Association of Pupil Transportation. It's a big deal. He got a plaque, got to go up. I was able to, I wasn't able to attend, but I sent a statement. Jeannie Baber, our director, was there and helped present the award to him, and we got some photos for it, and we want to get some social media posts put out. But that's a cool accomplishment. As you know, every year in the spring, the Transportation Department brings clean inspections. It's never been other than that since I've been around in the district, not just in this position. And it's all can be, well, mostly attributed to Doug and his work ethic and the attention to detail he pays. I think he sometimes drives the drivers a little crazy because of his attention to detail, but he gets quality service. So we're really proud of that award, and I'm honored to have him with us and to have him named to that award. The last announcement I want to make is kind of an update. I've mentioned a couple times before that Krista Hendricks and Gary Cox and I have been meeting with two different companies to discuss using their services for long-range planning for facilities. That will involve the use of sinking funds and potentially energy bonding, which is a non-tax way to leverage energy savings to access money up front and increase the amount of access, and then to help with planning projects. We've been meeting with Train, which is a relatively large company that is well known, and another company called PSI, Performance Services Incorporated. They are big in the school industry, breaking into Michigan. They've worked with a few districts in Michigan, but they're mostly south of here. And right now we're at the point where we want to kind of select one of those companies to move forward. It's still at no cost to the district, but they're, they have our energy information, and they're coming into the buildings and taking measurements and sort of prepping for a presentation, ultimately to the board, to say this is a plan we'd like to bring to you and to be approved by the board. But I needed to decide on one of those two companies to kind of take those next steps to get more prepared to bring it to you. So it's nothing that is going to cost the district money yet. We're just having those conversations, but we want to narrow down and get to this work. The potential with both companies is very positive. That we can, they look at, they help us plan end of life with our utilities and our equipment, and kind of plan out that money, and then they will, as a board, you'll be looking at, when our debt falls off, when our sinking fund falls off, so the long-term plan, so that we have a facility plan to take us into those steps. So it's important work for the district, so we're probably driving them a little mad with all the requests we have, but we want to make sure we're thorough in this. I think we probably asked them for more meetings than many of their districts, but We want to make sure we're doing it right. So at any point, we're down to 2 companies. I'll continue vetting them, and at some point I'll be bringing them forward to you for a proposal. That's it for me.
Any questions for Superintendent McMahon? Thank you very much.
I do have one, Mr.
Oh,
Farrow,
yes.
sorry. Mr. McMahon, how will the community be notified about the parade route? This community takes parades pretty seriously.
Yep.
And I just want to make sure that, especially for families who might not have a student in the district, like how might the community be notified about the parade route? I'd hate for someone to be sitting on Main Street waiting for the parade to start.
Yeah. So I'm actually, after this announcement, is going to work with Sun Times
Okay.
tomorrow. I'd like to get Doug Orr some recognition for his award, and also
Yeah.
this is a pretty important piece. I think it's a way to get it out. Of course, the high school will be communicating when it gets closer to homecoming time, but that doesn't hit all of our community members. So I think the Sun Times is really our best way to go, and then we'll do social media too.
Okay.
Any other questions for Superintendent McMahon? All right, next up on the agenda are board member comments. Any board member comments tonight? Go ahead.
Mr. Farrow, I just have one. I know our students received their AP test scores this week. I know I had one student who was refreshing the website over and over again. So I just want to congratulate our students, even if you didn't get the score you wanted or the score you thought you were going, just being able to sit down and take that test is a big accomplishment. And I'm just very proud of all the kids who put themselves out there and sit down, because it is really a practice for tests you're going to take later in life. Especially if you're going to go on to college. So I just want to congratulate everyone and for taking the tests and everyone who got the scores they'd hoped for.
Thank you.
President Farrell. So I just wanted to just say a couple quick things. Even though it is summertime and school is out, there are still things going on. Next Thursday, July 16th, the high school theater, MHS Productions, they're doing a reveal party of their the shows that they're going to be doing this coming school year. And so for any theater students or prospective theater students, they're going to be meeting at 3 o'clock at the theater to reveal those shows. And then they're also going to go and participate at Third Thursdays that night. So looking forward to that. And then also July 28th through the 30th, the football coaching staff is putting on a clinic for all incoming 7th through 12th graders. If anyone is interested in playing football and would like more information, please reach out to Coach Trott or Mr. Morlock. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board member comments? All right, I actually do have a few comments. I want to thank Ryan, Mr. McMahon, and also Ms. Hendricks for taking the time to meet with the Finance Committee today. I know you are both very busy, but the meeting was productive and very helpful. I know that Ms. Murray and the Communications Committee will be meeting soon. I also wanted to share for the community that the sinking fund expenses year-to-date for fiscal year 25-26 are now posted on the website. I believe Superintendent McMahon mentioned that at the last meeting, but I just wanted to reiterate that for the community. So it's out there, it's available. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact the district office. I did want to comment on the state budget. I am glad that the state legislators finally did their job and adopted a school aid budget. It certainly is not perfect. But we can better plan for the upcoming school year now that we have an adopted budget. In my opinion, the schools continue to be underfunded. While 2.5% foundation increase is better than zero, everything is costing us more, and 2.5% is not keeping up with inflation. There also remains uncertainty on special ed funding from the federal government. With all of that said, when adjustments to our budget are necessary, they will be brought to the board for review and for consideration. And then just an FYI that I'll be attending the MASP Summer Institute in Kalamazoo, August 7th through the 9th. I want to thank the district for supporting that investment. And then for our board, in terms of ongoing board policies, please review policies 4229 through 4404 prior to our August 12th meeting. So that's all from me.
Mr. Farrow?
Yes.
Can I just piggyback on the budget
Yes.
comment? Because I was going to wait until we knew what the impact to some of the ways the state changed some of the funding. But the one thing that we do know is that the state continues to raid, and I'm purposefully using that word, they continue to raid the school aid fund to pay for other things, like higher education. I understand, and I have long talked about the importance of education, and I think higher education is super important as well. But that school aid fund is set up for a reason, and we may not be underfunded if those dollars were used for what they were set aside for, which is public school funding. And so I think that, while the details of the budget keep coming out, I encourage our community to watch for those details, because when you have questions about why it was only 2.5% or why this change was there, one of the things that keeps happening is that money is being rated and diverted to other things and not spent on what our collective community was told that money would be spent on. So that's one thing about the budget that we know for a fact that I wanted to point out.
Thank you for that. All right. Next up on the agenda is new business. We have a closed session of the Board of Education. I need a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 81C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act for the purpose of negotiation strategies.
Moved by Sislo.
Support by Burdette.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Sislo with support from Mr. Burdette. Is there any discussion? All right, we'll proceed with the vote.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Pryor,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Burdette,
Yes.
and Farrow.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, we're moving into closed session at 7:42 p.m. All right, we are returning from closed session at 8:30, and with no further business to conduct tonight, the meeting is adjourned at 8:30 PM.